My name is Paul Borosky, and I'm the owner of Quality Business Plan, and I have just published a book, and it's called A Small Business Guide to Fundraising in 2019. And what I wanted to do is just take a moment and tell you all about some of the highlights of the book. And the book can be purchased on Amazon. And so if you go to Amazon, Small Business Guide to A Small Business Guide to Raising Funds in 2019. So you type that in, you come up with the book. And so now when you take a look at it, if you take a look at the table of contents, so some of the different information in here that I go over in this book is, first thing I do is I break this book into steps. When you're trying to raise funds, you have to go through a process. You have to have some kind of a strategy. And so I kind of show you all, how to go through how to make a strategy for fundraising for your small business. And so what the first thing that I talk about in the book is step one is know and understand your funding options. So you've got a few different ways you can go for funding. You can have a grant, you can get equity financing, or you can get debt financing. So those are your three options. However, different companies are going to benefit differently from your grants, your equity, and your debt as compared to other companies. So make sure before you start even thinking about fundraising, make sure you understand your options and which of these three will best suit your needs, or maybe all three of them will best suit your needs. But again, if you don't understand the different concepts and the different topics, you're not going to be able to make an informed decision. The next thing, step number two, is a business plan. Make sure you get a business plan. If you're going to try to get financing, you are going to be asked questions by these people that have the funds. When they ask these questions, you better have answers to them, and it better be in a cohesive manner, and it better have information to provide to support your answers. So, step number two, when you're going out to try to raise funds for a business, get yourself a business plan. And in here, I kind of just do a brief overview of the different segments of a business plan and why they're important. And the third step that I cover in this book is write a well-structured funding request. When you're asking for money, it's not just it's not going to work to say, yeah, I need $1 million and I'll be able to start my business. Break it up, and tell them what you're going to use this money for, when you're going to need the different payments. If you need $100,000, well, you might need $50,000 up front and then $20,000 in 2 months. However, have a well-structured funding request. And in this book right here, not only do I talk about, what should be included in a funding request, but I also provide you with a template that you're able to take out of the book and apply and just change some words around, and you can use that structure and you can follow that structure, and now you've got a well-written funding request based on a proven template. The next step four, is presentation time. When you are raising funds for your small business, you are going to always you're going to have some type of presentation. And now I don't mean a presentation where you're getting up in front of a bunch of people and you got 50 people in the audience and stage fright's going and lights blaring. It's nothing like that. A presentation could be simple as a phone call. You sit down with the loan officer and say, hey, I need some money. You're not going to just do that, handle a business plan, and pray to goodness they're going to give you the money. Have a spiel ready for them. Tell them, first to introduce your company. What's it going to do? What is different about your company? And how much money are you going to need to be able to start this operation? So make sure you're ready for your presentation. And then step five is create an elevator pitch. Once you've done your presentation, and once you've put that out there, the next thing, an elevator pitch is going to be important, is because you never know when the funding opportunity is going to present itself. You might be standing in the grocery line and there's somebody behind you, you strike up a conversation, they ask you what you do, well, you better have a response. And that response is your elevator pitch. And at the end of the elevator pitch, you just finish it up, say, hey, I'm going to do this, this, and this. And the only thing I need is X amount of dollars in order to be able to get this off the ground. So now not only you've met a new person, you started a conversation, but now you're again fundraising when you're just having just a decent conversation. Step number 6 is time for a plan. So once you have all of this information and you've done the basics, you've done the presentation, and you've done your elevator pitch, now it's time to really get down to the nuts and bolts, is who has the money that you need in order to fund your business. And again, usually you start with the friends and family, then you expand from there to the people you know, people you've worked for, what have you. But have a strategic plan, and again, in this book, kind of tells you how the strategic plan is started and how it works and such. The final step is going to be, step 7 is all about reevaluating, refining, and re-implementing. You may not have success the first time around with going out and seeking funding. That happens with almost all entrepreneurs. You're not going to have success the first time. If you do, fantastic. If you don't, you need to have time. You need to have a plan to step back, reevaluate, refine your funding request, refine your strategy for seeking out funds, re-implement it then, and then just follow this process over and over and over again. And the final aspect of this book that I have here is I give you all a summary. Give y'all a summary of 50 different lending sources, and these lending sources are going to include, the city where they're at. It's going to include websites where you can find the information, and the funding sources, they may be grants. Well, I've included in here grants, investors, and banks. And I kind of give you a summary of what the different pieces of information they're going to look for, and I also kind of tell you, hey, this investor right here is looking for startups. This bank right here works with startups, or this grant establishment here, they're giving money away, but you have to have had your business for a couple of years, kind of a deal. So this short little book is, in my opinion, since I wrote it, is pretty informative. And so if y'all are going to be trying to raise some funds for your business in the next year or beyond, please make sure to check this book out. And again, it is on Amazon. And hopefully y'all found this information helpful. And best of luck with raising your funds for your small business. Thank you.